Hey there and welcome. I'm E.H. Howard, and this is a few minutes with E.H. Howard. Lucky you. If this is your first time here, welcome. Glad to have you. Um, One of the aspects of this show, this channel, that I kind of really wanted to get into was more of the aspects of being a small business owner that nobody really talks about, nobody really discusses. And part of that kind of came to me the other day, and I'm not sure where this is going. I don't have an outline, I don't have a concept. It's going to be really kind of off the cuff, so kind of bear with me. I may have moments of brain farts. Um, but it came to me yesterday that, one of the things that we don't talk about enough, and by enough I mean at all, is sort of the damage that the pandemic has done to people's mental health. We haven't really talked about that. There is a problem in this country where we sort of stigmatize mental health. We think it should be something less than. We think it's something that, all you need to do is suck it up, buttercup, and move on and deal with things. And, for some people, that might be the way to go. That might be it. And if that's you, more power to you. I'm happy for you. I would love to know how you do that. But for some of us, it's not that easy. For most of us, it's not easy. And I feel like the mental stress, the mental health of small home and solopreneur businesses, contractors, consultants, this pandemic has taken all of that and just, shot it through the roof exponentially. As usual, there's a lot to discuss here. There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to get into. And let's get into it after the opener. All right, I'll see you on the other side. Hey there, welcome back. I'm E.H. Howard, and this is a few minutes with E.H. Howard. And as I was saying at the top of the show, I want to talk today about the pandemic and mental health, specifically the mental health of small home and solopreneur business owners. I don't think we get enough conversation on that. I don't think we get any conversation on that, to be honest with you. And I think that needs to change. I want that to change. I want people to be talking about mental health the way they talk about, I need to lose a few pounds, I need to go to the gym, whatever those things may be. I think we need to get on that level of acceptance that mental health is just as important as physical health. Before we do that, though, I want to do the usual. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. If you're a returning viewer, glad to have you on board. Thank you for joining us. Any way that you found me, I am appreciative that you spent a few minutes of your day with me. I know time is really valuable right now. The other thing I want to get into before we get too far is I want to talk about, I will use the catchphrase small business, but I want to define what that means. And by that I mean small mom and pop businesses, no more than maybe like 10 employees. The real Main Street kind of businesses. Solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, contractors, consultants, freelancers, you name, anybody that's working on their own or with an incredibly small staff. I feel like we kind of get pushed to the side. We get talked about the bigger businesses that can bring in a little bit more business to the economy of local areas, but not the really, I'm going to say, on the ground troops that are really making things run in this country. All right, so back to mental health, and I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm one of those people. I have a lot of health issues, mental health issues. I have over my years suffered from depression. I do struggle with complex PTSD from some trauma years ago. I'm not gonna get into that. I don't need to rehash that coroner's report, but just know that it's there, and that the sad part is, all of that taints everything that I do. All right. And if you are someone that suffers from some of these things, if you deal with some of these things, PTSD, CPTSD, depression, anxiety, any of those things, that going to work or doing a job or performing a task can sometimes be monumental. It can really be difficult. for me, the way that my challenges present themselves is, and again, it's from trauma, it is about I'm not good enough, I'm bad, I'm not doing what, it's all self-deprecating, beating myself up, tearing myself down, making myself feel bad because I am listening to the voices of the past. The past is and always will incite the present and the future for me. I cannot escape the past. But I have embraced the past. The past has made me the person that I am today. The past has put me where I am and given me the opportunities and the things that I have. And I'm thankful for that. I am the man I am today because those things happened to me. That doesn't mean that every day is a walk in the rose garden. That doesn't mean that the sun is bright and shiny in my world. That doesn't mean a lot of things. What it means is I am aware of the challenges that I have to face, and the issues that I have to deal with in order to make it through the day. I've learned how to cope with them. I've learned how to deal with them. Now, let's get back to what the video is really. I mean, that's an important area, and I want people to feel like that they know that I'm coming at this, I'm speaking to this from a place of understanding, a place of experience. I may not have walked exactly in your shoes, but I've walked in some pretty heavy boots. Where I'm going with all this is the pandemic. I mean, it feels like it was like 20 years ago. It's hard to still really wrap our mind around that it was really only like 2.5 years ago, 2020. It was like 2020 is like a year and a half ago. It feels internally like it was a lifetime ago. However, business-wise, it feels like we're still in it. All right, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And we'll get to this in a second. The pandemic forced people to start to really deal with a lot of issues, all right? How to survive, how are you going to make money when the world is shut down? How are you going to make money when you can't be in front of people, that you have to quarantine? All of the things that kind of came with that. The pandemic was one issue of it, and then there was a part of the economy that's on with it, and then you have the people who just don't want to deal with it, and we all know who those are. The people that were just yelling and screaming, why do I have to wear a mask, you're a sheep, etc., etc. So it's bad enough that we struggle with depression, anxiety, PTSD, CPTSD, whatever it is, and then you can't really, it's hard enough to get up every day and get to work and do the things that you need to do, and it's a struggle sometimes to get through the day. And now you've got, you can't get face to face with people. You can't operate your business in any way, shape, or form like it had been operating for years. And you were struggling then, so this is going to be a bigger struggle. You can't get the things that you need. You can't get the employees. You've got to take care of, luckily for us, we probably don't have any employees, but that meant that, we still had to pay our mortgage. We still had to pay our rent. We still had to pay utility. There was still a lot of things that were going on. And yes, people will say, well, they gave, moratoriums. But a lot of the rent and mortgage moratoriums we'll give you 6 months off, but then you got to pay that 6 months back. It wasn't like they were just wiping it out. They were like, we'll put it on hold, but it's coming back. Don't worry. So then you had that stress coming up on you. There was a lot of financial stress. Then there was the stress of I can't get what I need to make what I need to do what I need to do to make money to survive. All right. So every day it was pressure, 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 to the point where it can feel overwhelming. It can be beyond overwhelming. Now, the downside to a lot of the challenges that happen with mental health is, and again, because it's so stigmatized, it's hard to talk to people about it. It is are you going to tell me just to suck it up? Are you going to be there to support me? Are you going to, like, what the reaction, because of, especially in my case, because I'm dealing with trauma, there is that fear that this person is just going to be like, fuck you, you're a pussy. So there's that level of now, okay, now I feel like I've got all this pressure to me. I can't open up. I can't talk to people. I can't. And then you get people coming into your business, Carols and Chads and, you know, what have you, yelling and screaming at you, treating you like trash, acting like they're the only people that are important in the world. Like they're the only people that are struggling, still struggling. And it's enough to blow your mind. It is enough to blow your mind. And thankfully, the suicide rates have, at least for small business owners, have not shot through the roof. I'm surprised that they haven't. But, you know, there's so much pressure on us. There's so much coming at us that it can really feel some days like, I just don't even know where to begin. I don't even know how to get out of bed. And I don't have a lot of answers for you today. It's one of these things where I'm like, I want to start talking about this a little bit more. I have a couple of other videos coming along. I want to talk about burnout and not relaxing enough. Like all of those things that we need to do our mental health. But I think I needed to address the concept of mental health first. Now, one of the things that I do every day, one of the things that has gotten me through a lot of issues and challenges and stress is I keep like a black notebook, you know, like a black, you know, moleskin notebook. And I learned this a couple of decades ago, actually. When I was in art school, I was having a real artist block phase. I couldn't paint, I couldn't draw, I couldn't do anything. I was really struggling. And I discovered this great book called The Artist's Way by Julia Campion. And one of the things, there were many great things in that book. That was one of the books that really changed my life. It was one of the few books, it kind of led me on this journey too, because it was like, she not only excited me and got me motivated, but she showed me how to do things. She gave me the step-by-step instruction that I needed to work through these issues. But one of the things that she advocates all the time, and I used to advocate this to my students, I advocated to people that I co-work with, is in your notebook, journal, whatever place you feel comfortable with, doing what she calls morning pages. And so that's journaling. So as soon as you get up, I don't do it right when I get up. I used to set an alarm at like 5 a.m. and get up before everybody got up and did it. You know, my mind is fresh. But I have learned enough now I've been doing this for almost 30 years. You know, okay, as soon as I can get into my office, I need to wake up a minute. I want to kind of think through things. Now, the morning pages aren't necessarily always just for journaling and getting ideas out. Everything that is in my life is in this book. So all of them, there's probably 60 of them here somewhere. Ideas for business, ideas for ad campaigns, ideas. Because the idea is, once I start journaling, once I start getting this stuff out on paper, then that relieves, it's almost like a pressure valve. It releases some of the pressure that I'm feeling, some of the stress and anxiety that I'm feeling, and it allows me to start thinking. And there are days where she recommends 3 pages every day, at least to get started. And I used to write, and sometimes it was a hard 3 pages. I would just like, I don't know what I'm going to write. It was like writing a essay in, high school or middle school. It was like, and then I sat down and I thought about it, and I thought, so one day there was a whole page of just like, I thought about it and I came up with that. But the idea is that it frees your mind. It's a pressure valve, all right? And it allows me to start getting more creative. I've come up with some really amazing ideas. I've gotten really motivated. I've gotten really excited after doing some morning pages. So if nothing else, I highly recommend doing that. All right, do it 3 pages every day. I'm sure if you have any more questions, I'm more than happy to answer anything in the comments. But just Google Julia Campion Artist's Way morning pages and you'll find more than you could possibly ever need. but I don't want to go too long on this, and I don't want to harp too much, but I think we need to start these conversations. I think we need to really think about how all of this has affected our mental health, how all of this has really changed who we are as business people, how we deal with things. And if you've been in business as long as I have, I mean, I've been running my own business since I moved out to California in like 2000. I've always been freelancing or something like that. You know, I survived the .com crash. I survived the 2008 market crash. It feels like every time I turn around, just as I'm getting back up on my feet, as I'm just starting to feel like, fuck, all right, blue skies ahead, we're diving, and instead of heading off to blue skies, I end up being like fucking Thelma and Louise, and something happens and I feel like we're going off the cliff again. So we do live in some tumultuous times, we do live in some crazy times, and I think we need to start taking care of ourselves mentally and physically, and the physical journey is going to come shortly. I need to get back into shape again, but the first step is getting us all back on a mental health path. And if you struggle with mental health, I would love to hear from you. If you send me a DM privately on one of the social medias, go to the website, send me an email. I'm happy to help you. Leave comments below if you feel comfortable. I know people don't always feel comfortable, especially on YouTube, where there can be lots of crazy comments. But I think we need to start understanding that we are not alone, that there are a lot of us that are struggling like this. It's not that we're afraid to open up about it. It's that we are not sure who we can open up to, which is a little upsetting because, even with me, having been through years of therapy and having a husband who could not be more supportive, who could not be more helpful, be more just perfect, even then, it's hard for me to open up and talk about it. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Same thing with friends. I have a really hard time opening up with people. And then that adds more pressure to us. All right. So I want you to feel like I think we need to start building a community of like-minded people that can say, you know what? And I always find comfort in saying, this person's going through the exact same thing I'm going through. I feel better. I feel like I'm not alone. And I think that is the goal of this video. If there's any goal, is I don't want you to feel alone. I don't want to feel alone anymore. I want to feel part of the world. I want to feel like any of these challenges that come at me, that they're surmountable. I can get over them. I will get over them, and I'm not alone. I've got support. I've got love, and I can do it. All right. So like I said, this is the first step in a longer conversation. I want to talk, the next video, I want to talk about burnout. I want to talk about more about giving yourself permission to relax. Some of the things that kind of come up when you have, when you're struggling with mental health and you are struggling with paying the bills, hiring people, whatever it is that you're doing. I think we need to really kind of address those things in small businesses, particularly home businesses, because we have a lot riding on that. If we need to be out there every day, doing stuff, making money, making food, whatever it is, and we have nobody to rely on but ourselves. And in a lot of cases, you have family that's you're responsible for. You have kids that you need to, feed and clothe and take care of. Beyond just, well, I can't pay my rent, I can't pay my car payment, I can't afford gas. I'm a total, I understand everything, but I'm still like, $100 to fill up a car. That's ridiculous. It's the East Coast boy in me coming out. All right. So like I said, I want to start kind of getting into this conversation. I want to start diving into it a little bit more with people. But in order to do that, we need to kind of set a base. And I kind of want this to be the base of, you're not alone. Let's talk about it. Let's address the fact that we are all struggling with this, and the pandemic has only made things worse, not better. All right, so I'm E.H. Howard. If you want to follow me on social media, please, I'm E.H. Howard everywhere. Send me a message on Twitter if you want to talk about mental health. Follow me, join, come to our website. There you can learn more about me and some of the things that I do. I'm also going to start trying to maybe post some artwork, some personal artworks. So that's another thing that's helped me kind of get through things lately. I've gotten back into drawing. Out of pleasure. I wanted to, it's been a long time since I drew for fun. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you like and follow. While you're here, check out my other videos. And again, thank you. I appreciate you taking some time to spend with me today. All right.